Right, everyone, welcome to the next interview. I am joined today by the ever so amazing JRicky. Pleasure to meet you, man.
Thank you very much for that great intro. I don't know what I've done to be considered amazing, but I will absolutely take it. Thank you very much for having me, and it's nice to meet you as well.
No, thank you, man. Well, and I think everyone in the Pokemon Premier League are amazing, some amazing players, so you fall into that category, mate. But again, pleasure to have you. So there's going to be some people watching, some people that I'm assuming are excited to watch you, but for those who aren't familiar with you, would you like to explain who you are and what it is you do?
I'm JRicky. I'm 25 years old. I'm actually from Portugal. Quick story about my life. I was born in Portugal. I moved over to the US. I grew up there and then ended up moving back to Portugal. Hence my more American accent. But yeah, I'm just a draft league player who's been around for a long time. And recently I've sort of shifted my focus from being super competitive to more so trying to put out the best quality content out there. So I do video editing for a lot of different people. So that's sort of like my main goal for this season is just put out the most amazing content that I can. So if that's something that you guys are going to enjoy, then obviously hop over to my channel and hopefully we can have a good season together.
Awesome, man. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people, I'm assuming, watching your content, and I'm excited myself, man, to see how you're going to do. So an interesting question, I ask everyone is, how much experience do you have in Draft League? Like, how long have you been doing it?
Well, I've been around for a very long time. So I want to say the first league that I've joined was like 2014, 2015 maybe. I don't know. I just watched. I think it was like season 2 or 3 of the GBA, and I was like, "Yo, this is probably a really cool thing that I would like to try." So the way I set up my first league actually was I would just go onto Pokemon Showdown, go into the lobby chat, and just spam messages like, "Yo, who wants to join my draft league?" And that's how I started up my first draft league, and that was all the way back in like 2014, 2015. And I've pretty much been playing nonstop ever since. I did take a bit of a break between like Gen 8 and Gen 9, but I've been pretty consistent through Gen 6, 7, 8, and now Gen 9. So yeah, I've been around for a very long time. I would like to say I have a lot of experience. I'm not the best player, but I'm not the worst player either. So I've been around for a while.
No, that's awesome. Well, to be in this league, man, you've got to be somewhat decent, I'm assuming. So
yeah.
Again, that already shows how good of a player you are. And I don't know how much time you've got, so I've got a few questions, if that's okay, of course.
Keep on going. Oh, yeah, awesome, I've got time.
Oh, brilliant, awesome. So this is a question I've not asked anyone at all. But I'm interested. You've said you've played Draft League again since what, well, that would be 10 years now, Gen 6, right? So what would you say your favourite meta has been so far from 6 to 9, if you don't mind me asking?
I personally, and I don't know if it's just the nostalgia speaking, but I really enjoyed the Gen 6 meta with like the megas introduced and giving viability to Pokemon that were otherwise not great. Like my favorite Pokemon is Heracross, and seeing Mega Heracross get a Mega Evolution was really cool. So I'd probably say Gen 6 would be my favorite. Again, not sure if it's nostalgia. A lot of people are big fans of Gen 7 and Gen 8. I'm actually not too big on those gens, so if I had to sort of like rank them very quickly, it'd say like Gen 6, Gen 9, and then like 8 and 7, probably something like that, but Gen 6 is definitely at the top for me.
No, that's amazing. It's really refreshing for someone to say Gen 6. I'm that camp with you. I'm not a battler, but I enjoyed them battles, megas, and
yeah.
So does that mean you like the new meta, terrestrialization? Are you a fan of it?
Yeah, at first I was a little bit skeptical, and I feel like a lot of the part of me enjoying it now is the rule change that went through, because when we first started, we had, the top tier Pokemon like Chien Pao and Baxcalibur and Roaring Moon, those type of Pokemon terrestrializing, and that really didn't create for the most fun meta, just because like no matter what you do, those Pokemon could probably just like 6-0 you because of the terrestrialization mechanic. So now that we sort of shifted towards a low tier Terra mechanic, I am a much bigger fan of this meta, especially with the 2 DLCs introduced. Added in a lot of Pokemon, really refreshed the meta, and allowed for different playstyles, because at the beginning of the Gen 9, with all those high tiers terrestrializing, it was a very offensive meta. With the introduction of the DLC and new mons coming back, it's made for a more enjoyable meta, in my opinion.
No, that's awesome, man. Yeah, this meta's, again, I think it's one of the most interesting ones. Like 8D chess is what Onesie calls it.
Yeah.
With terrestrialization. So again, you've had tons of experience with Draft League over the years. I've got to ask, if you were to pick one moment, maybe one battle in your Draft League career that you would highlight as the top moment for you, what would that have been?
Actually, a really good question. I don't often think about like my past career in Draft League, but I guess the moment that always sort of like sticks out to me. Well, first there's two. There's one that's more of a meme, which is where I lost out on a championship because of a Choice Scarf Lantern, and that sort of just like became a meme because I was so convinced that I was going to win, right? Because who the frick runs Choice Scarf Lantern? So I was so convinced I was going to win. I was so happy, and then I just got swept by Choice Scarf Lantern. So that then stuck with me as a little bit of a meme. The moment, I would personally choose, it would probably be back in Gen 7 when I was playing in the UBL, and I actually took on A-Drive, who was like regarded as one of the better players at the time, obviously because of his size and everything. But I ended up winning that game, and I swept him with a Dragon Dance Superior, which was something that, at that time, like you wouldn't really see that happening. So I feel like that would be the moment that I would highlight out of my career. I have won championships. I've made it to finals and stuff, but that was a moment that just stuck with me because, to beat A-Drive with a Dragon Dance Superior felt just like a really special and crazy moment. So that's the one I would pick.
So I've asked people this question, and them moments specifically. It's interesting you mentioned Lantern and Superior as what they're two of my favourite Pokemon in my top 10. So nice. That's crazy, man. But yeah, that's awesome. And fair play on the dub against A-Drive. That's again incredible. I should have asked this earlier, apologies. So obviously you said you've been doing Draft League for 10 years, but as a Pokemon fan in general, how long have you been with the franchise for?
So I think my first game was Pokemon Blue. I'm not sure exactly what year it was, but I feel like that was the first game that I actively remember playing. I was still quite young when it came out, so maybe I only played it a few years after, because I remember that I then skipped Gen 2 altogether. So Gen 3 is where I really start to have like core memories of me playing Pokemon, and I played Gen 3, Gen 4, and then around Gen 5 is when I moved back to Portugal, and in Portugal, Pokemon isn't really that big of a thing, so I didn't really play it, because obviously you're in school, and if you're like 14, 15 and you play Pokemon, then, well, what are you doing? You're a loser, right? So I skipped Gen 5 completely, and then I sort of just got back into it with Gen 6. So, yeah, I've been playing since the very start, on and off, but as I grew up, I started to get more into it, and then obviously with Draft League and everything, and content creation, I just sort of never really stopped playing Pokemon since.
All the way back from Red and Blue, fair play, man.
Yeah.
As you said, with Gen 3, I grew up with that myself, so it's what a beautiful gen.
Yeah. So probably played through those games like hundreds of times.
Oh, Emerald specifically for me, man. No, that's dope. So you mentioned, again, this Draft League, the Pokemon Premier League, we've got some incredible people. A lot of people have mentioned people like Addison. We've got Onesie, Gray, Shroom, yourself. We've got tons of people in this league. Mount as well, of course. So I've got to ask you yourself, if you were to pick a rival for this season, who you're watching out for, who you think, is your rival, who would you say that is?
There isn't really any specific person. If there was somebody that I could choose to play, that I would be really excited to play, that would actually be Seabad, because obviously somebody that I've watched way back in the day, and getting the chance to play him now would be quite nice. If it's somebody that, I'd be excited to play from the standpoint that they're really good at the game, it would probably be Addison, just because we are really good friends and we only played once before, and she did beat me in a kind of like not the best way. So if I could have a rematch against her, I think that would be really, really cool. But I'm just, down to play anybody, because as you said before, everybody in this league is amazing in their own way. Whether it's through their skill, it's their personality, whatever it is, everybody in this league is... It'd be really exciting to play anybody, so I wouldn't really choose any specific person.
Of course, no, that's fair enough, man. As you've just said, tons of people. It's hard though, right, to pick when everyone is so versatile. So again, this meta, Generation 9, crazy meta, absolutely insane. Is there any specific Pokemon you're looking out for that you think, okay, this one could steal the spotlight?
Without spoiling too much, I am really, really interested in seeing how the new legendary Pokemon are going to, the new Paradox forms are going to play in Draft League, specifically for Gouging Fire, because I feel like that mon could have a lot of potential. But I've seen a lot of people say that it's not even a round 1 pick. So I am interested in seeing how it's going to end up playing out this season, so we can get like a more proper verdict on if it is indeed really good, or if it's just one of those like round 2, round 3 Pokemon that you end up picking to not be the star of your team. So Gouging Fire is something I'm really looking out for.
No, that's awesome, man. Just a few more questions, if that's okay. So let's take you out of the league. Let's say you wasn't in the league, you were just a spectator. Who would you put your money on to win? Obviously, you got to back yourself, but if you're not there, who would you choose?
I'm not there. Yeah, give the other people a chance to potentially win. I've watched a couple of the other interviews, and I feel like the answers are sort of the same. I would say Addison or Mountite, just because I feel like they're just really solid players who have a lot of experience competing at the highest level. Last season in the PPL, they both had really, really good runs against some very good competition. They were 2 of the best players back in Generation 8 as well. So if I had to pick a couple of people to put my money on, it would definitely be either on Addison or Mountite.
Okay, well, yeah, a lot of people have said those. A lot of pressure on those 2 specifically, man. So we'll see how they do. So for the viewers watching who, again, are looking out for you specifically, would you like to tell those who don't know you what your name is for the team you're coaching?
So I'm coach of the Gigaton Hammers, and that's actually a sort of new thing, because I wish the story was much more interesting than it actually is. But so for Gen 9, I was running my old team logo for a little bit. But I just felt like Gen 9 has a lot of cool Pokemon, and Gigaton was Tinkaton is one of my favorite Pokemon, right? So I tried really hard to think of a team name that would be able to incorporate Tinkaton, and I just couldn't really think of any good ideas. So I was like, okay, well, Tinkaton has a signature move that's pretty cool, right? It's unique to it, Gigaton Hammer. So why not add an S to the end and just make that my team name? And that's how it was born. Wish there was more sentiment behind it, or no. It's just I just like Tinkaton, and its signature move is unique, so we just sort of went for it.
I like it, mate. No, I like it when there's especially in the real life Premier League with West Ham and Hammers. I think that makes a lot of sense.
That could work. That could work.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot, man. I like it a lot. No, that's dope. So for those that are going to watch out, and what would you like to say to all the people that are excited to see you specifically?
Well, like I mentioned before, I have a lot of experience. I would consider myself an average battler, but what I'm really going to focus on this season is to put out the best quality content. So if you are interested in that, if you want to see some wins, some losses, but above anything else, quality on production, then I'd encourage you to check out my channel, because that's really what we're going to be focusing on this season. Probably not going to win every game. I hope we don't lose every game, but I hope to put on a good show, and for it to be an enjoyable watch, because we have seen the Draft League scene sort of like re-explode now. So I feel like there is a lot of opportunity to get new people in and to try the format, and if I can do that through putting out good quality videos, then I will absolutely take that. I'll be very happy.
That is amazing. And again, man, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to have to interview today. I really appreciate your time.
Guys, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you don't miss out on anything else.
Exactly what JRicky said, man. There's going to be tons of interviews, some amazing interviews that are not me, that are going to be doing other coaches. And just keep a check out to the channel for all the content throughout this season. And I think me and JRicky ourselves, we're going to look forward to it, man. So, Again, thank you, man. You have a good day.